Hi, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is December 11th, Friday, and we'll be covering some of the news that we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Last week we did not have a video. I want to explain that we did a text recap, which you could access on seroundtable.com by going to the archives, clicking on December, and going to December 4th. We have our text recap there. Let me just highlight some of the quick points right away. That week, it was December, I think, 2nd, was the 6th year that we had the Search Engine Roundtable, that we've been writing at the Search Engine Roundtable. So it's been 6 years of writing on search over at the Search Engine Roundtable. Written over 10,000 stories, 2,000 in the past year alone. So it's been a pretty good project that I started about 6 years ago, and it continues to go on, and hopefully it'll last for a long time. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. We discussed, caffeine going live on one data center, page speed tools that came out by Google and how page speed was going to be important. We talked about different user interfaces on Google. We talked about Bing. We talked about Yahoo, some AdSense things and stuff like that. So definitely, if you missed that recap, go to December 4th at seroundtable.com to check that out. And we'll get started right away with the December 11th Friday Search Buzz video recap. So this week I was in Chicago. There were Search Engine Strategies, which is actually the sixth year that we've been covering Search Engine Strategies in Chicago, and we've been covering it actually since 2003. We have probably about 30, 40 sessions that we covered in live blogging format. Obviously, I couldn't do this without the help of Brian, Marty Weinberg, AimClear, and also Chris Boggs from Rosetta. Brian, you can find him out at BEUSSERY.com. So thanks to all the live bloggers for helping me out. You can find our coverage, a recap of our coverage, which we posted on December 9th at seroundtable.com. So I'm going to try to stick with the segments. So in this segment, we're going to talk about the different user interfaces and search result changes that happened over at Google, Yahoo, and all the various search engines for this past week. So the first topic is Google is now personalizing all results by default. So if you use a computer, you open up Google. By default, your search results will be personalized. In the past, you had to be signed into Google for your results to be personalized. Now, Google will put a cookie on your computer and figure out. There's a lot of technical details, but basically, they'll track what you're doing on your computer by default without you opting in. If you want, you still could opt out, but by default, Google will now be personalizing results for everyone. Obviously, there's a huge amount of discussion about this in the SEO world. A lot of people are worried that their number one ranking will no longer be number one, and they won't know about it because obviously if I get certain search results and you get certain search results for the same keyword and they're different, there's no such thing as a number one result anymore. There's lots of obviously ways to look at this, and there's lots of discussion. There's some good studies also we posted at SEO Roundtable from David Harry. Basically, you shouldn't freak out yet. You should definitely read some of the discussion over at the Search Engine Roundtable. We have a post about it on December 7th. Look up David Harry's post over at, I don't even pronounce it, HUOMAH, I think. We have, again, links to it on the Search Engine Roundtable, which basically shows that you don't have to worry that much about it right now because the personalized results don't differ that much from the non-personalized results. Also, on the Google front, Google released their new real-time search feature. It actually went live yesterday, but they announced it earlier in the week. And basically what it does is shows Twitter results, mostly Twitter results for certain keywords that are trending. So if you go to Google Trends, typically you'll see certain high popular keywords for that day. Google will show real-time search results in an AJAX type of window, either at the top or in the middle of the results page for those types of keywords. And Google has partnered with various companies such as Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, FriendFeed, and others to get these search results these real-time search results in their search engine. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion about how this could be exploited. If you wanted to rank number one or number whatever in that search result, all you got to do is really tweet out things related to that thing. So if you're writing about, Tiger Woods, all you got to do is write Tiger Woods in your Twitter account. It should show up in that real-time result at that time. Obviously, it doesn't last there forever, but you can keep tweeting things. And there's lots of examples of how it could be exploited, but yet it's kind of useful for certain types of searches. Not to be outdone by Google, Yahoo also announced the day after that they're showing real-time results from Twitter as well, and that was announced on December 10th. So you can take a look at that as well. Finally, not really search related in terms of the user interface, but it was cool. Google announced several mobile announcements, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but Google Goggles was pretty cool, where Google Goggles is pretty much you take your Android phone, you take a picture of something such as I guess like a Coke can or something, and Google will then do a search based on what that picture is. So they'll take a picture. It would actually try to figure out what that picture is about and then place that picture in words into Google search results. So it's called Google Goggles. There's a demo about it. You can actually download it right now if you have an Android phone. And if you want more information about that, definitely take a look at December 8th at SEMroundtable.com. All right, so now let's discuss the SEO category of this video presentation. So now, one of the topics we discussed this week was, at least yesterday, December 10th, I believe, was that a Googler responded to some questions about how accurate or how trustworthy the new site performance report in Webmaster Tools is. The site performance tool is basically a tool, which I discussed last week, which allows you to see how fast your pages are according to Google. And obviously page speed is going to be one of those factors in 2010, which webmasters hasn't prepared themselves for, so Google released a tool that basically shows you how fast they think your pages are. The issue is, one day, a lot of people are saying, hey, my pages are really not this slow, so why are you reporting them as being so slow? Googler replied to some of these questions, and one of the answers he gave was, and let me quote you, the 83 number is bogus. Basically, 83 seconds number is bogus. Your site's toolbar traffic dropped by more than an order of magnitude in the last few days. That's saying basically that Google's using obviously the toolbar data to figure out how fast a page is. So in the past few days, that traffic to that page, according to what they track in the Google toolbar, has dropped significantly. Let me continue. You should ignore the average for now. Don't look at the average number in this guy's case. We continue. We'll soon be showing site owners some indication of how trustworthy the numbers are, so you can decide when to ignore them and when not to. So based on that, Google's going to be showing an additional feature in that report saying, should you trust these numbers or not? He goes on to say, not all URLs may have toolbar traffic, so it's possible to have many URLs indexed and even visited by users, but only a couple may show up in site performance. In addition, when there's very little data or for a given URL, we won't display it for privacy reasons, though it will be included in the overall site average. So that's talking specifically about specific pages, which they show below, not the average. They show specific pages data, and they won't show all data for specific pages if those pages aren't popular in terms of the toolbar traffic, and in some cases they won't show them at all, but they will include all those pages in the average, they're saying. Again, this is using toolbar data. Google saying you could ignore it for certain types of pages, but at the same time, Google's not showing us what to ignore yet. They will, using some type of trustworthiness indicator in that report. I asked Google for more information about this, but they have yet to provide that. Getting back to the page speed, a lot of people have been complaining that, specifically with AdSense, that Google's reporting, the Google site performance is reporting that AdSense is loading slow. So it's interesting because AdSense Advisor, a Google representative, actually came into the forums and said you could ignore that because Google Bot is being served up the uncompressed version, whereas real users are actually served up a compressed version, which loads faster for real users as opposed to Googlebot. Is that cloaking? I don't think so. That's another topic. At the same time, AdSense Advisor said, we are aware of this, and we're going to go ahead and change it so that Googlebot gets a compressed version, which speeds up, obviously, that load time, and it shouldn't be an issue going forward once they implement that it shouldn't be an issue in their site performance reports. And Google Analytics is one of those other things that shows up in these site performance reports that's loading slow. And again, a Googler said that you could ignore that for now because Google Analytics is running on an old server which doesn't do gzip and doesn't do certain compressions, and you could ignore it. It's fine. It won't impact your Google rankings, they said. But not every webmaster is convinced that Google Analytics won't impact your rankings. On the Bing front, I found a useful tip where Bing says that it does not register a 301 redirect until it finds and crawls a 301 redirect 2 or 3 times. So for Bing to actually register that you set up a 301 redirect, it may take some time because it requires at least 2 or 3 web crawls for it to be registered as a 301 redirect, which makes sense because sometimes you might make a 301 redirect by accident, so they want to make sure that you really want to do a 301 redirect before it actually registers that. Finally, on December 9th, we posted the Google Webmaster report, the December one, which will be the last one for this year. There wasn't much discussion in the Webmaster World thread that we discussed in general, just normal fluctuations about certain things and UK versus US types of discussions, but overall there was not much discussion about it. I did write in detail the things we covered over the past 30 days at the Search and Roundtable related to Google, so if you want to take a quick glance at what's going on in Google, according to the Webmaster and SEO front, definitely take a look at our report on December 9th at SEMroundtable.com. On the AdSense and AdWords front, wanted to discuss two things. One is that Google has officially confirmed that they will be taking, or they have filed a claim in court against some people or companies that are using these scams. You know, those AdWords scams that we're talking about, where people are pretending to be Google and charging you money for basically sending you a box of paper and whatever they might be doing. So Google's actually taking these people to court, and they filed suit against at least one, but more than one different company. Specifically, the one they filed suit against was Pacific Webworks, and we have a link to the actual complaint, the PDF complaint that they filed in court. In short, Google said they're doing this to fight back. We're working to stop various fraudulent Google money schemes, and this week they filed suit against Pacific Webworks and several other unnamed defendants to go ahead and go after these, which is good because this has been going on for a really long time. Back to March of 2008, Google's been constantly blogging about them and telling people to be aware of them. At the same time, I guess they had to take legal action to go ahead and fight back, which they're doing, which is nice to see. At the same time, we saw another type of scam where we call it what I'm calling AdSense pirates, and basically, this is not new. Basically, I've seen this before where competitors or people who are angry about certain people will go to a site hosting AdSense and just click it to death so that Google will see some type of raise a red flag and say, hey, why is this person clicking on these ads? Why is this person doing searches and clicking on the ads on the search results? Just in order to raise a red flag and hopefully to ban that advertiser from AdSense and obviously get that advertiser out, that AdSense publisher income from Google to just wipe it out in the future. And it's called AdSense pirating or AdSense pirates. Actually, an AdSense advisor in Webmaster World took this guy offline, and it should be okay. But there's certain tips you could do to actually prevent this or to try to mitigate the issue and make sure you keep Google apprised of such an issue. We have a post about this on December 8th. On the SEM Industry front, Tony Rusco, he's a very, very popular search marketing personality over at the Google Blogoscope forums and those Google Blogoscope blog. He's been writing there since I think 2006 and participating in the forum since 2004. He's basically knows everything about Google that a search marketer could know or a searcher could know. He's actually joining Google. He's starting in January 2010. He will be a Googler. I think he's going to be in the Google Webmaster Trends, Google Master Central team, but he's going to be based out of the UK office, the London office, and he's very excited. Everybody's wishing him well. He's not the first webmaster to turn Googler. John Moo did it back in the day. Adam Lasnik did it, I think. He was a webmaster. And lots of different Googlers have done this and joined the webmaster team or web spam team in the past. He would be a great asset to Google, and congratulations to Tony and to the whole Google Blogoscope community. It's really a great thing to see. So we have two funny-ish things for you. One is something we covered in the past, like 3 years ago or so. One person went to Webmaster World, said, hey, I am a Google AdSense publisher. I've been so for several years. I did well, but now I'm looking for a job. I really only work for myself. Could I go ahead and use Google as a reference, since I'm an AdSense publisher and Google has sent me checks? Could I use them as a reference in my resume and in my job interviews? Since technically they've been paying me, so could I use them as a reference? It's funny, AdSense Advisor actually said, I love that AdSense has been your primary source of income. Sadly, I don't personally know enough about you or your work to provide you as a reference. Basically, he's saying, the AdSense Advisor is saying in a nice way, you're not an employee of Google. I haven't worked with you personally, so I can't vouch for you. It's not the first time an AdSense publisher actually asked if they could use Google as a reference. Technically, they're not employed by Google, so technically you cannot use them as a reference on your interview. You can definitely show them your potential job new job boss, you can actually show them your success in AdSense, but I wouldn't use Google as a reference. Also, we covered this morning, based on a web search thread, where somebody went ahead and was fixing their boss's secretary's computer and just testing to see if their network was up. What they did was do a search in Google for a search on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hit enter, and what came up gave that guy a slap in the face by the secretary. It came up a video result in Google of porn. So the woman basically said he said she thought I was being disgusting, but I eventually convinced her it was a freak occurrence. Basically, he was searching for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just to see if the network was up. The secretary was sitting there, slapped the guy, I guess, for showing him her porn. Thought he was disgusting, and so basically, the story is don't search for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or porn on your secretary's computer. So we had a logo from Google this week. It was for Popeye, the Sailor Man. Take a look at that. The Popeye's creator celebrated his 115th birthday, and so they did a Google Doodle for him, which was very nice. In addition, tonight is Chanukah. It doesn't overlap with the other holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, etc. So it's on its own time, and Bing has a nice theme up there on their website. I don't know if you can see that. Zoom in a little bit more. Also, Search and Roundtable, us, we have a dreidel theme. They're little toys that people play with on Chanukah. You can see the dreidels are actually hiding SEO in the Search and Roundtable name, which is cute. Finally, Create a Site Forum also has a theme up for the holidays, for Christmas and Hanukkah as well. Currently, Google, Yahoo, Dogpile, Ask.com, they don't have themes up yet for Hanukkah. Doesn't mean they won't. Technically, right now in Israel, it is Hanukkah. Google.co.il does not have a theme. Maybe it will be there, maybe not. Anyway, it's cute holiday to play with. It's fun. It's festive. It's giftful. And everybody who celebrates Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, and will hopefully you'll enjoy it. So that pretty much recaps the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Thank you so much for listening. Today is the December 11th, Friday edition of the Search Engine Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.